Hello and welcome to episode number 2 of Saltwater for the Soul. I am Mandee Elam. I am one of your hosts today, and I am so lucky and so honored to hold space with my beautiful soul sister, Dani Marshburn of Infinite Yoga and Wellness. Hi, Dani. How are you today?
I'm all right, Mandee. Hello.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
Same, girl, same.
Dani and I met via retreat a while ago in 2017, Rise Sister Rise with Rebecca Campbell in upstate New York. And I saw you then, but I didn't get to know you then. And over the years, via Facebook and messages and visits and whatnot, it's just been absolutely incredible. And I've been able to get to know you on a whole nother level. And I'm so honored for your soul and our friendship.
Same. I feel grateful for it every single day of my life. Like it's not something I have a ton of, and then with all that you have around you, I'm really honored to just be just a little part of all that magic and get pulled back into it all the time. So thank you.
You are such magic. Will you share a little bit about yourself with our listeners and maybe your current magic in the world?
The magic. So I'm a yoga teacher, if you have to put a label on it. I think I'm a very unconventional yoga teacher, but it's very steeped in education and tradition. But my purpose is not to teach people yoga. My purpose, my calling is that people are inspired. So I fused all of that into what I teach and the healing, and I've done that full time for 9 years. And I've had a small yoga studio in Jacksonville, North Carolina for 9 years. The fate of that yoga studio is forever to be determined, day to day, hour to hour. But for right now, the doors are open. But I think, like many people, my magic is transforming. Even though I've done this for many years and I've gotten really good at it, now I'm kind of like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, I don't even know anymore, as you know, when all of your belief systems crumble, when everyone that you've ever been close to leaves, when everything that you've ever thought was real falls away, then you're just like, okay, I'm listening. Like, give me a little direction, but I've just surrendered to it. I don't know. I have no idea. If somebody tells me I need to go be a cashier at Walmart tomorrow, I'm like, okay, I'll go. So I'm just waiting for that nudge. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to be when I grow up?
I love that. And I just feel like the more you're on this kind of journey of finding yourself, your own spark, your soul, the rawest pieces of you, we go through, for our listeners, there's probably a lot of you out there who are familiar with the dark night of the soul, or a shedding of these layers that no longer serve us. And I feel like it happens more than once for me, at least. It's constant. It's like accountability. It's like the more you step in line with yourself and with your purpose and listen to those little whispers of your soul, even if it says, yes, I'm going to go be a cashier tomorrow, or whatever it is, even if it logically doesn't make sense, it ends up being sometimes, wildly uncomfortable. But then there's just these nuggets on the other side where you're like, holy shit, I know exactly why I went through that, and when and how and why. And it's almost, for me, like this releasing of attachment expands into like more love or knowing. How's it feel for you?
Same. Like, in the beginning, you're just like, you're shitting me. This is not going to work. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I opened a yoga studio in a very, very dark place. Like, I pioneered yoga in this little place because it was never, you would have never known. And it's not a very healthy, it's not a very light place to be. But I did it, and it was tumultuous. But I never was wondering if I did the right thing. I always knew, even though it gutted me and I was lost most of the time, I knew I was in alignment. And right now I feel like a lot of the suffering that I'm having and been having with, Dark Night of the Soul number 999. Yes.
Put it on my tab.
Yeah. Like, oh, one of these again. Okay. I feel like it's just because that isn't in alignment anymore. I don't know what is, but I know that it's time for me to evolve again. Like, even though that was the biggest, gnarliest, scariest, most insane thing I could have ever done, I did it. So what's next?
Hell yeah.
So
how do you do that? Oh, sorry, I totally interrupted you. How do you do that? How do you tune in to when you know it's time to take that next leap forward? What do you sense? What does that feel like for you?
Feels like terror. It feels like you're crazy. And whenever everyone around you is saying that you're crazy, and whenever you're like, maybe I'm crazy, then that's whenever you're like, oh, that's what I should do. I mean, I didn't know that then. Like, then I just kept doing these one little things at a time. It really was, I have no intention of teaching yoga. I had no intention of opening a yoga studio. I just wanted to help people. And yoga had helped me so much. And I was a counselor at the time. I just wanted to incorporate yoga into my counseling. I'd never been to a yoga studio before my first night of yoga teacher training. I mean, I had done yoga, but I had never been to a yoga studio. I didn't have yoga pants. Like, I didn't know about this world. And now here we all are.
Here we all are. And you made it day by day, just about 10 years with that journey so far.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's incredible. So right now, you're actually taking a little time and space for yourself, aren't you?
I am.
Will you tell us a little bit about that, what this little adventure is for you and feels like?
So I'm calling it my life rehab. So I have been a single mother for 20 years, and on top of, there's nothing more important or nothing more devastating and rewarding than mothering someone or something. And I have done that. And then along that, I put myself through college and graduate school. I opened the studio. I did all these wicked things alone. And I've joked around that I had scheduled my nervous breakdown for 2019, whenever Lexi graduated from high school. I didn't have any money. And then COVID hit, still had even less money, had nowhere to go, and didn't know, and kind of went back into survival mode. And then recently, I have even less money technically. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm out of town. If the studio crumbles when I'm gone, then it was supposed to crumble. I have to put everything down. I'm not taking care of anyone. I didn't even bring my dog. And I've said that I'm here to just stare out into space all day and go on hikes and go to yoga like a regular person. And that's what I've done. And eat healthy food.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's incredible and brave. It's hard to do that, especially, that whole trust, like, all right, I'm going to trust someone to watch my baby, my dog. I'm going to take this time for myself. I'm going to trust that, you know what? I love my yoga studio, but if it happens, it happens. If it falls, it falls. I trust the crumbling and whatever's going on. That takes some serious big girl pants, sister. Big human pants.
Big human pants. I'm wearing them. If I have to wear pants, it's big human pants.
I love that. And what have you found so far in your peaceful moments? Anything that you want to reflect or share with us?
One thing that has stood out, because everything that I do, I think it's just maybe it's an imbalance, but it seems like it must just be the way that I'm wired, is how every experience that I have that has benefited me, how can I let people know that this shit is available to them too? And, I think now, so I've taken a month off, and, not everyone can do that, even though we can jump a timeline anytime we want to. In the beginning, it started with me taking Monday and Wednesday nights to go to yoga for myself in a dirty gym. That was how it started. Was I put a barricade around, I go to yoga on Monday and Wednesday nights in the stinky cycling room at the gym. That was how it started off. It started out an hour at a time. It started out with, I meditate and do some breath work every morning for 5 to 15 minutes. It started out with these little things. Oh, I'm going to go to a workshop this weekend. You know, I'm going to go to a training. I'm going to go to a retreat. And it wasn't gradual. Like, even though you can go up and be like, hey, people, I'm taking a month off. See you later. You know, you'll be fine. For me, I didn't think I could, but it started, you know, everyone thinks they need a permission slip. So my permission slip was just starting with these little pockets of time where I'm like, fuck everything. I need this for myself. And so now I'm like, I should do this more often. Even though it's weird, and you know, you go through boredom, and every addiction that you've ever had is rearing right in your face, and you know, everything that you don't want to deal with, that you keep yourself busy with, is like, no, I'm here, I'm still here. But I'm really glad that I did it, and I know a lot of people need it. A lot of people are unwell because of all of the world that they have carried, and it's been medicine, not good medicine, not like cherry cough drop medicine, but you know,
Yeah.
medicine.
Soul medicine.
Yeah.
That's what I call it with myself, my medicines, or when I work with my clients or anybody I'm talking to, I'm like, hey, we're all like our own amazing, unique beings in this world. But if there's one thing I've learned so far, it's that we've all got our own medicines. And if we allow ourselves to learn, we can create a toolbox to use our own medicines and keep us feeling, you know, in alignment. And I don't care. You don't have to have the same Kool-Aid as me. You do whatever's best for you, you know, but when we can be brave enough to say, okay, something doesn't feel right. I don't feel good. I don't feel like, you know, it's hard to feel like our optimal self. No one even really knows what our optimal self feels like. But a lot of times we know we're not even close to that right now. So I got to do something, you know?
Yeah. We can tell. You can tell when it is all tilted and you're like, yeah, something's got to give.
Yeah. So Dani and I were having a little bit of a funny conversation right before we started recording. And we were talking about how to just show up and be raw and be real and speak your truth, even when it's not the politest or the prettiest sometimes, and how to just unapologetically be yourself. Got any tips for us?
You better practice. Like, you know, I do think anything is possible. And I think that people can say, damn it, I will never do that thing again. I will never go back to that thing again. But for most of us, these grooves are deep in the brain. They're deep in our psyche. They're deep in who we are and how we have walked on this planet in this life, maybe many lives. And I think it just takes a lot of practice, and it takes a hell of a lot of self-awareness. Like, you have to call yourself out on your own bullshit time and time again. It takes a lot of, you know, mirror work or whatever you want to call it, where you just have to be like, I'm so full of shit.
Yeah.
And I'll probably even look at this call and I'll be like, that's the old me. Why did I even say that? But you know, we're changing so fast. I think a lot of us are. What was true even a month ago, I'm like, this just doesn't resonate anymore. But you have to constantly keep yourself in check. I mean, I don't want to ever feel like I hold the exact same beliefs that I did 20 years ago. Even as painful as it's been to let go of everything I've ever believed in, I wouldn't have it any other way. but it takes practice. You got to practice.
It takes serious practice.
Like you have to commit to this higher version of yourself every time that you elevate, and every time you die to who you were, you've got to be like, no, this gets better. No, I have more. No, I came here for more. But it's not easy. It's really easy to lay on the couch with the remote.
real comfortable to do that. Really easy, real comfortable.
Love it. Yeah.
Just check out. But it's those small seconds, those moments where you choose to take a different action, where you choose to respond differently, where you choose to just where you feel your blood boiling and you say, fuck it, and you yell, and then, and let it out. Which is not an easy thing. And I'm very good. We were talking a little bit about it earlier. And I tend to be kind, and I definitely was the good girl and the people pleaser and the, what can I do for you? And for me, I adopted this, well, I'm capable of it. So I want to do it because I'm capable. And I went through a lot of physical injuries over the past decade, and I'm so much better now. And I'm so much stronger and healthier and healed, and I'm able to do a lot. So sometimes I'll overdo just because I'm capable now. And I have to catch myself on that a little bit. And I've come to realize too, when I just show up in my authenticity, I feel better if I let it out. Whether it's, being, maybe a little bit mean or snarky with something, whether it's writing a big love letter about something, whether it's being honest with myself or crying or letting myself cry. We're in Atlantic City and there's some noise behind us. And then the biggest part I've noticed is forgiving myself when I've showed up in ways where I don't really want to. And hopopopopono, I always mess that up, eat my shit up and being like, all right, Mandee, it's okay. I love you. I forgive you. You'll do it better next time. And try to releasing the criticism where I feel there's got to be a balance. Cause I also I don't like humans who just go around and spew all their fucking shit on everybody either. And I don't want to be a part of that. And I won't contribute to that. But at the same time, I know when I need to say no now, or I know when I need to say that's not appropriate. Got a story about that too in a few minutes that I'll talk about.
Oh, good. Love your stories.
Yeah. No, I'll just tell you right now. So, because so we had a drum circle this past week. It was really beautiful and really amazing. And we went to the same spot that we always do. And there was a few people a little far away from us, and they had a speaker and music going, and we're like, yeah, whatever, we'll still set up our own spot and it'll be okay. And then they got the couple got in a fight, and there was kind of a domestic dispute, and they were just screaming at each other, and it just seemed not good. It seemed really nasty. And the woman finally got upset and left, and then he was yelling at her and running after her, and his phone dropped. And he turned around and he was like, my phone. And I was and he looked at me. I'm like, yeah, your phone dropped. Because we were maybe 10 feet from each other. And I was setting up the circle for the drum circle. And he's like, pick it up and give it to my brother. And I was like, no. What? I'm like, no. And then he just left. And I just left it there the whole time. I was like, I'm not touching that. A, I don't want that energy. B, I don't know what the hell is going on over there. I'm just asking the angels to surround us in white and blue light. I'm not engaging with it. It's clearly, they're separate at this time. Other people were watching too. But at the same time, I'm I am the old me would have been oh yeah, I should pick that up. I should, hand that over. And for me just to be no. And then, and then he came back, and then he was not happy that I didn't put the phone back. And then he joined the circle and pretty much stared me down the whole time, but it ended up being really interesting. And so after a while, it all ended. I think it all ended in peace, which was good, but it was really interesting. And I was I just don't want to, I didn't want to be involved in it, but I had to because I saw it all. I was right there. I'm not going to say I didn't see it. And I was just yeah, your phone dropped. It's over there. And then when I got told what to do, I was no. And that's all I said. No.
Yeah.
Nope. And then it was interesting. Yeah. Because he joined the circle. And then at the end, he was like, you didn't include me. I'm Muslim and you didn't include me. And I was I was like, I included everybody. I was like, we said a big opening prayer and said, you know, whatever you believe in, whether it's something higher or nothing, you get to come and be as you are. And we just ask that you hold space and respect others and allow this to be a sound healing event and to experience the sound to come through you in whatever way it's going to serve you. And that's what I said in the beginning. And that's what I said at the end. I'm like, I'm so sorry if that offends you or you feel offensive to it, but it wasn't my intention. And I wish you a beautiful night. Take care. And I just like walked away. And that was it. And I was like, all right, this was really an interesting energy exchange. But I was pulsating off of me, like what to do in this situation because, you know, and it was upsetting. I don't like to watch people fighting like that. Like, it's upsetting to me. I help, you know, domestic violence survivors all the time. I've been through it myself. I'm like, what the hell? We got to do this right in the beginning of the circle. Yeah. But we did.
Yeah. It's powerful. Powerful. I mean, especially when you know how you would have reacted in another version of yourself.
I've been like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'll go get it and give it to your brother. Yeah.
Like this? Is this good enough?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Right here.
I know.
But I was like, no.
Did it have a big charge in you when you were
It did.
Yeah, that's how it happens with me too.
That's what I was saying to you. I could feel it pulsating off of me. It was like womp womp. Those moments where it's the 10 seconds that slows down into like a half hour and you feel yourself get a little red. You feel the womp womp. There's a decision to be made. There's an opportunity for me to get scared, you know, or however, like react however. And instead I just chose to feel all that energy rise in me. I took a few deep breaths and I just said no. And then when it came back, I was doing extra stage everywhere. And I did say one thing. I said, you are welcome to join our circle. Mm-hmm. And he's like, thank you. I said, if you are kind. Yeah. And he was like, I am kind. And I was like, I'm happy to hear that because I did not see you be kind a few minutes ago. And you know it and I know it. And he was like, you're right. And I was like, that's it. You just got to be kind, man.
That's it.
And I walked away.
Yeah.
I staged him, walked away.
And he got called out.
Yeah. And I'm usually not someone who does that.
Yeah. But it was right and you knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of those initiatory moments where you have to, you're like, you feel it with your higher self, with the angels, with the team, you know, and there's a few other people around, but I was definitely like, it was the opportunity where I had an opportunity to respond and act differently to a situation. And part of me, even in my like, Dani and I have both done a lot of like mental health work. And even when I used to do like de-escalating situations or things like that, or, you know, nonviolent interactions and stuff, like I probably would have gone to more of a, oh yeah, I'll just pick it up and move it to de-escalate the situation. Right. But I was like, I don't even want to de-escalate it. I was just like, I don't even want to be part of it. No. Mm-hmm. So it was weird.
I could feel everything though. I feel it. It's one of those really important moments, like majorly important. Like nothing will ever be the same after things like that. Yeah. Like you become more and more constituted in who you know you really are. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, it's there's always a moment. You always have a moment, even in the scariest situations and the most drastic and emergency. You can always take a breath. You can always take a beat and you can always take a second to say, okay, how do I want to respond this time? Yeah. And trust me, I've had a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of opportunities to say no or to have that sort of situation or whatever. But it felt like a lifting and okay, I'm showing up in a different way. And I know people are watching me right now too, and I don't care. I need to handle this in the way that I'm going to handle this right now. And that's how that's going to be. And, you know, I can't worry about what anyone else thinks or might think of me in this moment. I just have to trust the energy that's rising in me and trust that it's for the highest good. Even if it's my shittiest moment on earth, it could still be for the highest good for the others out there.
Right.
And myself.
I agree. I mean, I think that we're both, and all of the sea goddesses, I think we're shouldering a lot of that responsibility, bridging all of that. Like, you know, there was a time when we didn't know we could say no. So we've been through this just craziness, but it hasn't been selfish. Like, we're just like, no, you can do it too. Come here, you can do it too. Like, you can stand up for things too. So I think that's why we get all the fun tasks.
Yeah. The super fun ones.
Super fun ones. Yes, I love this. I love this. Yes.
Well, you were even sharing with me like a simpler one, but it's so potent and powerful. And when you have someone like you're on sabbatical and whatnot, and when you have simple things being asked, how to log into an email, how to do this, how to do that, things that it's really easy, like you're very capable of helping and teaching and being kind with, but then like taking your energy back and like putting up those boundaries. What's that experience been like, getting off that autopilot?
Well, it's like, I feel like I've been doing a lot of it and for a while, but I constantly think that I'm not being stern enough. I'm not being clear enough, and I'm not being loud enough. And, you know, I only have, out of the thousands of people that I've taught, I only have about 10 people still at the studio. I had about 100 members, and I have about less than a third of that now. And then of that, only about 10 of them are people that have been at the studio for a couple years. And I think the reason that I've lost a lot of them is because I have bridged these things, or stood up, or made a boundary. And most of the time, I think 99% of the time that I say no, or not now, or that's not mine, or you can do that, people immediately and walk away. They are so offended that I have put any responsibility on, and this comes for even instructors that I've hired. It's probably more of that. Anytime I put the responsibility back on someone, they are so offended. But I take full responsibility of it, because that's the resonation that I attracted these people at. Was that, look, no, I'll do it for you. And I'm so passionate about helping people and making, you know, I've been under this guise of making everything accessible to everyone. Well, I'm not for everyone. And I'm exhausting myself in the hopes that people that aren't meant for me still come in, because I know that this will change your life. I know this will help you, but you're not ready. And then, you know, and then as I change and as I elevate, people want it to stay the old way. So then whenever changes come, they are so upset with me, and they love to tell me how I have upset them, either directly or usually it's very passively, which we've all been there. But I've still not perfected it. And then when I go back, like, another level of change will have to be implemented, because I see how I've still been doing all of the hand holding, and it's for the silly stuff. And like I was saying, you know, I think I've been to well over 100 yoga studios. I've never called or texted anyone. I've never even emailed an owner. I've just figured it out. And I've happily given them as much money as I could possibly give them, even if I didn't have any, because I believed in it and I knew the benefit that it would give me. And that's just the way things work. Like, we've all just got to dig in and give each other only what we have to give. And in that case, it was credit card, you know?
Yep.
But
yep.
It's so important to me that I figure it out. I didn't know how to go to Greece. I figured it out. I didn't know how to go to Rebecca Campbell. I didn't know how to take a train. I didn't have any money at that time, like all these things, but I'm like, this is important. It's important to me. It's important to my progression as a human being. I'll figure this shit out. And I think that's just what we have to keep doing. But then as we do it, we lose the people along the way, which is heartbreaking.
We do.
Mhm.
We do. And that's hard, because we love people so much. But like what you were talking about a little bit earlier, like we can't control how people are going to take things. And people respond to where they are at in their own journey and their own ascension. And the whole not taking things personally is a really hard lesson for us to learn as humans. And man, do we see that all the time.
Yeah. And like, taking things personally is so big that we all have to learn that lesson. And then what I find is, but their responses, they're not even honest. Like, but then that you can't have that, you can't even have that conversation with that person because they're not going to hear you. They're not going to understand anything that you have to say. So it's like a lot of, and then it's just like delete, like I wish you all the best, which I really do. But as someone who was put here to help, you want them to understand. You want them to see. You want them to see that, honey, this isn't about money. You haven't been to yoga in a year and a half. You are not canceling your membership because you cannot afford it. You are canceling your membership because you don't go to yoga. Like, let's just put it out there. I'm not mad at you. I fucking love you. If people had any clue how much I love them, they would not even fathom it. But I can't make people stay. I can't make people understand. I don't know.
We can't. All we can do, in our divine sovereign power is lead by example.
Yeah.
And then trust in beautiful divine timing and that people are going to get certain things when they get it. I was telling one of my beautiful soul sisters, she'll laugh when she listens to this, just about practicing your own medicines, changing your habits, all these things for months, for like 6 months in Mandee language and all the ways I know how or could. And then my mom said something at one point, and she said something to her like, it was move a thought or move a muscle, move a thought. And it resonated and was like, and I'm like, I've said that in 8 different other ways. Why didn't you get it when I said it? And I was like, man, this is not about you at all. And then those 3 seconds, I was able to put my ego down and be like, okay, you know what? It came through. The message was received, not in the way I wanted to. Same with one of my friends and clients who she'll laugh when she hears this too. But all the things about I was talking to her for a long time about being integral and being really honest with yourself and showing up in truth and being honest with yourself in each moment and all of these things. Because of the abuse that she went through, she had been to a healing seminar and they were talking about how you got used in your life and how now you're showing up and using other things and what you're doing to use, like get certain ways or this or that, and how it's like not being honest and truthful. And that boom clicked, registered like, and I was like, all right, rock and roll. Like, we all are trying to often say and convey a similar message, but because, and frequency doesn't lie, you can feel it, what things feel like, but words are sometimes so hard to wrap our lives around and to understand and to integrate. And so we just hold the space. The same thing. There's some times where I'll say shit and I have no idea. And then somebody will be like, you said this one time. And I'll be like, I don't even remember. So it's so funny how when we just let ourselves be present and just be integral and truthful and keep leading, by example, the best way we know how, it will get out there. And to trust, for me, a lot of people, they're always, this whole big new earth thing's coming on. And, here we are ascending into the 5D from the 3D. And there's some people who just think it's going to just happen, or that the people who are already in the 5th dimensional way of thinking that's it, no one else is coming. And I'm like, are you guys nuts? I'm like, I highly disagree, which I'll probably get my ass kicked by half the spiritual world for saying it. But what else do I care at this point? Right.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, we're born every moment, every day. And we all have our own beautiful, incredible astrological paths. And there's kids being born that are discovering algae that eats fucking plastic. Like, this world is magical. And I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, 5D train is closed and none of these other newer souls can hop on. Like, that just doesn't feel in alignment with me. For me, it's about getting as human as possible and being as human as fuck and getting your hands dirty in the humanness, that you find the bridge to deconstruct the 3D and the matrix or matrices that we've all created within us and around us.
Right.
And then you get to step more into your truth and your integral being and being present in the moment. And you get to leap into the quantum world and start seeing the fifth dimensional realities and possibilities, and how they're all right here too.
They're all already here.
Every bit of
it. I mean, we are the creator beings. We all are. We're all creating our own reality every fucking second of every fucking day, which is a slap in the face whenever you're in a low point. You're just like, why does this shit keep happening to me? And then when you're able to get back out of that, you're like, oh yeah, it's obvious why these things are happening to me. But we have to keep, and I think as a helper, we all do this. We're just out there trying to drag everyone along. No, come this way. I can help you. I can help you. There's a better way. And I think this year, if anything, has shown me more and more and more, I have got to just stay in my own integrity. Like, I've realized all the different ways where I had really good intentions. My intent's always been on point. Like, I don't have to ever even question my motives, but this whole martyr business, we're done with that. Like, we stand from integrity. We are filling ourselves up. We are figuring ourselves out. And then that is what is going to draw the people. It's all about, everything is frequency. It doesn't matter what training you went to or what book you went to or what certificate you have or who your fucking teacher is. Like, don't get me started on that. You have to own it. You have to resonate that way. And it's different. It goes against everything that we've been taught, but that is the reality of all of it. So much.
It really is. Integrity. I love that word, integrity.
There's nothing more important. And we've all got to take our own responsibility. None of this shit is anybody's fault. I mean, it seems like it. It's believable. Like, shitty shit happens to people, but we have to jump back into our own power, completely obliterate this victim mentality, which I've had a lot of issues with that because I got dealt a wicked hand in this life, but now it's easy to see why. It's easy to, like, when you know what you know, it's easy to look back. Oh, my soul was like, this will be fun. Let's pick this.
Hell yes.
Yeah. So you're now, but that took some practice. Like, why would anybody pick this? I did not pick this.
I didn't pick these parents. I didn't want to pick this. I didn't do this. And it's so funny because I felt really like gifted to be able to see glimpses of higher perspective when I was younger. And I like broke up with materialism probably when I was like around 19 or so. And I started to see things just a little bit differently. And I'm like, why, it's like, I just remember getting my driver's license and being so grateful for having a car in this lifetime and freedom and my own way out. And like, that was it. I was like, I have a car now, like in this lifetime, and I can do anything that I want. And it was like so empowering. And I was so grateful for it because I'm like, I bet I just like had this awareness. Like, I know I've waited lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes for this type of thing. And now, like, that's what I remind myself on my worst days. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, even the poorest of the poor, like right now, like on my worst days and the things that I've been through and even what I've seen, I worked with the homeless for a really long time. Like, we've got, everybody's getting cell phones now. We're finding ways, to take care of one another. And like, it is not, don't get me started on the whole homeless thing. That's a whole nother issue. And I don't think that we are treating each other very kindly as humans at all. But at the same time, even on the worst moments, we're able to go to a store and buy food. Like, you couldn't do that, even like 200 years ago. Things, you had to grow your own and you had to work really hard for things and take a whole lot back to go to the bathroom. And we didn't have every time I take a shower, like, even like, especially the showers like that I've hated the most, or I've been like, oh yeah, this is like what people think is crappy apartment or this or that or whatever. I'm like, I'm just so grateful to like have one running water, and
Yeah.
you know, like half the world doesn't even have that right now. And there's just always an opportunity to step back in. And it's that whole like, yeah, somebody else might have it worse than you, because they do. And that probably does happen. And that doesn't discount any of your own things that you've went through. But at the same time, for me, it gives me hope, and it gives me an opportunity to not stay in my hole as much.
Yeah.
Or like when I am in my hole or my funk and I can't get out of my own head or perspective, I put on an audiobook and jump in someone else's for a while, where I go and volunteer for a little bit and I be of service. And then I'm able to shift my perspective, which helps me, you know, to elevate and become the better version of me at this time. And that's just it. Because if we stay in our heads and we stay on these thought loops, oh man, that's where a lot of our damage happens. And why, I guess, the matrix or the hires that be, or whatever we want to call it, us and our insecurities have created this constant loop of projection all the time in order to reject ourselves.
Yeah. Keep us in that low vibe, pitiful little life. And then we can't realize who we really are. And we forget that we can do anything. Like we forget, like literally the possibilities are completely infinite. Like there's no limit. There's no ceiling on anything. If we can think it up, it's completely possible.
Completely possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just all of our insecurities and our beliefs and the what will they think of me's that keep us so bound.
All beliefs. And the minute that you confront that belief, you can, you know, if it's a belief that suits you, you can amp that up. And if it's a belief that you're like, no, thank you, no more, goodbye, you can completely dissolve it like that. Like, and everything, we're just all running really off of these belief systems that were handed to us. We didn't go in and pick them out. So, you know,
I mean, the only thing we picked out was like where we chose to incarnate in our parents and like the time space continuum. But even with our parents, it's not like we picked them for like super fine details. It was like, oh, I picked my dad because he's going to help me work on my self-worth. And so, did that go well from like our perspective in this lifetime? No, but I can see my higher self being like, oh, this is training ground. I got this. Like, let's do it.
Thanks,
you know,
Mama.
just like
I've worked on abandonment. Yes, that's great.
Exactly.
So we can switch it. Yeah, we can switch it anytime. If I want to be like, I've not been abandoned. You know, I'm sure my mother does love me. If I want to switch it around, I can at any given moment. And that's empowering. And when you watch how you feel after that, when you dry up your tears and like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, then you feel so much better.
So much better. And just like the power of releasing the story, or the story the power once had over you. When you find forgiveness for yourself and for experiences and for others, you know, it's like that's for me is what I have felt most like true freedom. It's like all of a sudden I had this experience that weighed on me for so long. And one day, you know, I forgave it. I woke up, I did the work, and finally met that sweetness of, yeah, that happened. It has zero control over how I feel in this present moment. Nothing can trigger me about it. We can talk about it. There's really just not much to say anymore. And it becomes neutral. Like for me, that's freedom.
Yeah. That neutrality place is big because we're so attached to those stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're like a body part. Like, hey, here's my traumatic story. Nice to meet you.
And they are, and they hang out right in our biofield, hanging around, lurking around on us until we're able to transmute them.
Yeah. I think I have a difficult time anytime anybody does ask me to say anything about myself, because it's like, even though I know that my story is an empowering one and it can help to uplift and inspire others and help others know that, you know, all these things are possible. I'm tired of most of my story.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so I just don't even know what to say. Like I don't know how to articulate this different version of myself out loud yet. Yeah.
That I've been working on a book for a long time now, and I've been finding myself just putting a little subtle pressure on myself to finish writing it for that same reason. Because I'm like, holy shit, I'm vibing like right out of all that old stuff. And
Yeah.
I need to like write it down and remember it now a little bit in order to like, if I want, so choose, in order to remember that at that time and my humanness at that time, because my human's evolving and changing so much, and I'm not going to look back and reflect it on it the same way I once did at all.
No, there's no way that we could. We're changing too much too fast. But I like if you look at Glennon Doyle Melton, or however you do her names, she's written 3 memoirs. Like, who does that?
Right?
And they're incredible. All of them are life-altering reads. But she's not the same anymore. Like, that life story that was so profound 10 years ago, the version of it that just came out a year ago is that more earth-shattering, but there's a new level of honesty. And I think that that's how it's going to be now. Like, our lives are going to just keep changing.
That's how we evolve. That's the one thing it's one of my favorite quotes, but Charles Darwin talks all the time, or used to talk about how the species that survives is not the strongest, it's not the smartest, it's not the fastest, it's the one that's able to adapt most to change. And in my wild little soul life, I'm 35 now and I've lived in 33 houses so far, and I definitely signed up for the change business. And in my life's work that I'm doing at this time, and in my coaching and guiding for people, like, I believe in change. I know that I have changed and healed myself, and I know that others can too, if they allow themselves, if they grant themselves the permission, if they let themselves unplug and go into the opportunity to change. It is so possible. And like, that was always something we always heard, growing up. Oh, people don't change. Believe what you see, all those things. And sometimes there's truth and validity to that, but it depends on that individual's choices.
It is. And I would say most people don't change, clearly. But you can change everything. You cannot recognize yourself anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Exactly the same. It's okay.
It is okay.
Yeah. Do you?
So something to change the subject a tiny bit that I wanted to bring up on this episode, something that I got to witness that was really beautiful and powerful and serendipitous, was Dani Marshburn came and visited us and helped us to execute the Light and Sound Healing Arts Festival here in Atlantic City, which was just an absolutely beautiful day. And I was a little weak. I was having a bit of a flare up of myself. I used to get these gout attacks. I hadn't had one in years. And of course I got one right before the festival, but it was a big opportunity for me to allow myself to receive help and support, to communicate what it is that I needed, and to just trust in the divine timing of things and how everything was going to get laid out. And so I was moving a little bit slower that day. And Dani, she was just all day intuitively just the shit. You were just amazing. You're helping people check in and smiling and guiding and just being such a light and all hands on deck. And it's kind of, I guess, if we want to label it 3D-esque or whatnot, but like, I've worked hard my whole life, and I'm someone who's had a lot of jobs. I've worked my ass off. And when you get in a groove with someone and you can just work with them, like, it feels so amazing. And it was so nice to just jam with you that day and like work with you on like a boss energy level and like feel that. Yeah.
Agreed. And it was so nice to like, it was the epitome of sisterhood and teamwork, because we got some brothers in there too. Well, one, it's so lovely that everyone has so much to offer. Like, in my world, I'm used to pulling all of the weight. I have to mentor everyone or teach everyone, or everyone's coming to me for the help or the answer or the support. There, it's like nobody had a job. Like, everything got done. Like, no one hesitated. No one was like, that's not my responsibility. No one was like, that's mine. Like, everything was so seamless, but so uplifting. Like, I feel like that's how everything in the world should operate. like just the way that everything came about that day and how hard everyone worked and how grateful everyone was. And that is how everything should come together. Like bring your magic and let's blow shit up. Like,
right?
If it's carrying boxes, you carry them damn boxes with your whole heart. If it's I told you whenever I came, I'm like, I don't care what you want me to do. I just want to help. I just want to help. And, I was happy to get to teach yoga, but I was so happy to because I feel like, there are people, but they're your people. Like there are people wandering in that they don't even know what's about to happen. And what most human beings need anyways is to be seen, to be heard. And it was so nice just to be there with people and just be human together the whole day. And I feel so honored to be able to have been even a little part of that. So thank you, Mandee, and thank you all you gods and goddesses out there.
Oh my gosh, it really was. And it was just so nice to, like you said, just watch people do things with their whole heart. And it was incredible. And so we had this magical, synchronistic, divine thing happen because in our yoga area, Dani was supposed to have like a microphone and be able to share or like control her music, her playlist while she taught her class. And there were sound issues. And so we had to move Dani a few minutes late, last minute, over to the head of the stage, or basically where the music stage was. And it was the coolest moment because it was the most beautiful day and the breeze just like swept right behind you as you walked out over. And we had to rearrange last minute with what the plan was and what, we didn't have the plans that way. And then all of a sudden, this just energy came over and Dani started to teach and started to speak. And oh my gosh, I've never witnessed such a powerful, like, I want to call it a sound healing and just embodied light language all in one. It was just incredible. And Dani just got up there and started channeling and doing her thing. And it was like the whole festival was moving all day, moving. And people literally just stopped to tune in to your amazing divine feminine energy and all the things that you were bringing in and transmuting and sharing. And it was just incredible. And it was like every single person that I saw or looked around at least took a breath or a break and jumped in for when they could, because it was magnetic. How did that experience feel for you? Luck is preparation meeting the opportunity. And it was one of those things that like just happened, and it was so beautiful and honorable to witness and to see you step into that light and to start to channel and whatnot.
It's funny, like I don't ever get nervous before I teach anymore. I don't ever, like, I don't plan, I don't think. Like the only thing I might plan is I might have a theme or a playlist. I let the playlist say the things that I can't say while I am offering the self-inquiry or telling you where to put your hands and your feet. Like the music is important, but I felt nervous that day. And it was interesting because normally when the sound guy was like, there was the problem, normally I would be like, that's okay, it'll be fine. And I was like, no, thank you. I have to be able to manipulate the volume. And when I teach, it's a living experience. So, and even some of the songs that I had planned, when I got to where I was and the people that were participating, I felt a different message. And so that even in itself, me speaking up for like, no, this is how I teach. And I don't know the yoga scene in New Jersey. I don't know what to expect, but as what usually happens when I teach, I'm just like the little middleman in there. Like, I just want to help. And my only prayer before I teach is just let me be of service. How can I help? And I don't ever know what I say or what I do. So I don't have any recollection of what I said or what I do, but it felt important. It felt bigger. It felt like a timeline jump. I felt like that was one of those moments where it was very evident that I was in exactly the right moment at exactly the right time. And that, look at how unlikely it is that we would have ever even met gotten together, combined forces, shared families, like, so it's just, you know, you knew that all is well, all is well. And I actually felt really humbled and grateful to tears when it was all over. I knew something important had happened, even though I don't remember what I said or what I did. But that's how I teach. It is a channel. So I can't.
It was magnificent and altering for everyone who witnessed it and was involved. And it was one of those beautiful moments where you get to see heaven open up a little bit, and we get to see the reason we're following, you know, these pulls of our souls and our hearts and wanting to do this work, and like watching it align in the most magical and serendipitous way was just so cool. And it was just, it's like, and when you have soul sisters, it's easy to drop into all kinds of different energies. But when you get to watch someone who you love unconditionally rise and be truly of service for the greater mission, it just was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. And it was just such an honor to witness. And I just thank you for showing up and being brave and speaking your truth and saying, no, I need my music and we need to figure this out. Because had you not, we wouldn't have set up all the energies that needed to happen for that moment and for that experience.
Yeah. And I think it was going to happen regardless. Like, I didn't know that was what was going to happen, but it became very clear, like, this is what's happening. Yeah.
I just love it. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for taking time out of your beautiful scheduled time away right now to hold space with me and all of our beautiful listeners. This has been such a beautiful conversation.
Agreed. Definitely an honor. Like, whatever you say, like, I'm behind it 1,000%. So yeah, I was happy to, and it gets me, like, even though I'm here to rest, it's also really evident why I was put on the planet. And it wasn't to lay low.
You know, I was joking around about that. I say that all the time. Like, I don't think I incarnated in this lifetime to be a monk. I think I'm meant to be walking with the people, doing the things, fucking shit up, learning from my mistakes, and going from there.
Yeah, like, I feel like I'm just supposed to be going through with a ball bat, like, just blazing. Yeah.
I just love that. Dani, how can our listeners follow you or get a hold of you if they're interested in checking out more of you and your work?
Well, don't text me until after July 31st.
Hard line.
So you can really get a hold of me anyway. So my name is Dani Marshburn, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram, although I've been on like a social media purge, and I will operate on social media very differently in the future. And then I have a website, infiniteyogawellness.com. And that is for my yoga studio, but there's more information on there. And you can also contact me right through the website. My email through there is just Dani@infiniteyogawellness.com. And I'm here for it. Like, it may take a minute if I don't feel like, I'm a very internal person. When I don't feel like communicating, my biggest medicine is to just not speak, even if that's with my fingers. But I do really make an honest effort to get back to all the messages. And I just want to help. That's it. Like, yeah. However, whatever you want to reach out, I just want to help.
Rock and roll. That's how you get a hold of Miss Dani Marshburn. And I'm Mandee Elam. I'm with Sea Goddess Healing Arts. You can find us on seagoddesshealingarts.com. I'm on Facebook also, and Instagram. I'm better at Facebook than Instagram. I guess I'm like a dinosaur with that, but I'm getting better. I'm learning it. And so thank you all so much for tuning in to this second episode of Saltwater for the Soul. Please like us, follow us, subscribe to us. There will be plenty of more heartfelt conversations coming your way. Wishing you all such a beautiful day.
Thanks, y'all.